And all right, so we will start today letting everybody know what we're going to need. We're going to need a mat, a chair, some pillows, a clear and focused mind as always, and a mindfulness to respect your threshold and your range of motion. This isn't a race. It's not a contest. This is you getting in touch with where things are at for you right now. And with that in mind, also, this is a broadcast video. It is going out on the socials, and we do use it for promotional purposes. So if that is a concern, please keep your video muted, and we'll be fine. But we do hope you will come join and participate. First, our classes always start with an awakening the base. And to our base, as some of you know, is all about having your feet planted and your pelvic tilt in place and your chin to throat engaged, regardless of the position that you're in. Okay? When we do awaken the base in class, we have you lie down on your back if possible, if not, sitting in a chair. And preferably a chair that you can have contact with your back. Okay? And today what I want to do is warm us into Awaken the Base a little bit by cutting to Tiffany and talking a little bit about pelvic tilt. Okay, we don't want to totally gloss over pelvic tilt because we need to get it in place, even though our main focus is going to be more in the head and neck today. Okay, so Tiffany's going to set us up into the base aspects of pelvic tilt here.
All right, so you're going to lie on your back. And our cue points are we're going to be planting the first knuckle of our big toe here, the ball of your foot. That's where your pressure is going to be applied. And we want to keep our thighs parallel to each other, so we don't want them to be out or knees knocking. So keep those engaged here. So by keeping it engaged, it's a trick to keep it engaged is by planting that first knuckle. So that's going to help you to keep these straight. So just think about that in your head. Our shoulders and upper body is relaxed. And, oh, sorry, I'm on a squeaky thing right now. Squeaky plank. So we're going to put on our chin to throat. Just gently tuck your chin down to the floor, trying to reduce this curve in our neck. And we're just going to do a few pelvic tilts. So you're going to take a deep breath and then exhale as you flatten your back, and we'll hold that for 2, 3, and release as you inhale. So you're exhaling for 6. So it's 3 count in, exhale, and then you hold for 3, still exhaling, and then you inhale as you roll out of it. So I'm going to do a few here. And then we're going to move on to the upper body. 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, and release. 2, 3. Remember to plant those big toes and go back into it. 2, 3, hold, hold, hold. Really flatten that back and release. 2, 3.
So, Tiffany, thank you for that demo there. And what she's demonstrating for us is trying to get you warmed up and getting you in touch with it as you do chin to throat and move in to the neck motions, which is that drawing the neck, the chin into the throat on a plane, as opposed to tipping the head down and putting the chin to throat. That's what we're shooting for. So I'm going to throw over to Tiffany now. We're going to consider you've got your pelvic tilt in place. She's going to talk just a little bit about chin to throat, and then we'll take you into the awaken the base portion of the show.
Okay, I'm just going to bring you guys a little closer here so you can really see what's happening with the chin. So just now we were having the chin to throat that was permanently on, and the pelvic tilt was rotating. But now we're going to change that up. We're going to switch it up. So we want to focus more on our chin to throat. So we're going to work that, and we're going to keep the pelvic tilt on. So same thing, plant the ball of your foot, keep those legs in line, and turn that pelvic tilt on. And then your chin is relaxed as it's not Being pushed down. And then you're gonna bring it down, 2, 3, and hold, 2, 3, release, 2, 3. Just gonna do about 10 of these, just warm it up here. So you'll feel like a gentle stretch in the back of your neck. And you might have to reset your pelvic tilt, and that's okay. Just take a breath, reset it, and just get back into it.
And as she continues on with her reps there, you're all going to be in position and kind of go inside your body for just a little bit and really focus on the details with me. Okay? And here we go. All right. I'm just going to take a minute. I want to bring your focus to your breath. And we're going to do our triple 3-count breathing, which is 3 counts inhaling, 3 counts pausing or continuing the inhale, and 3 counts exhaling. So we're going to begin, and we're going to inhale in 1, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, 3. And then we're going to inhale, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3, slowly exhale, 2, 3. Keep that pace going, and then overlay, get your pelvic tilt in place and hold it in sync with your breath. And then once the pelvic tilt is placed, begin to sink your chin to throat with your breath. Exhaling as you draw your chin down to your throat. Your jaw is relaxed, your teeth are in light contact, not biting, and your teeth are not separating. Just like when you stand on the quarter lightly with your heels, you keep that light kind of contact with your teeth. And
All right, that's about 12 or 15
right.
reps so far.
Yeah. So everybody taking those last final breaths, coming back into the learning mode, and we're coming out of there. Back to reality. All right. With our bases awakened and our spirits high, we are going to move into plank. Okay? And we'll be starting that off. Oh, yes. What do we got to do after that? We got to get up and we need to transition to looking at our screens, during which you should do some arm swings and rapid slaps, maybe, or some shrugs at least. Tiffany can show us how to erase there a little bit. Erasers. Can't forget the erasers. All right. And then Sam will be cueing our plank video for us. And we're going to run through this briefly. The same things we learned and emphasized doing pelvic tilt and chin to throat in the face-up position during awaken the base become doubly relevant here. Okay? So it's just a simple change against gravity. And Sam will let it roll, and we'll mark the key points as we roll through it. Lying face down. Hands come flat behind under the shoulders with the palms down. Okay. Elbows are pointed upward and squeezing inward. Okay, using your lats and shoulders. There we go. Engaging the chin to throat. We see the nose floating. Very important. We'll cover this some more. Equal distance between the chin and forehead. Okay, advanced practicers can pay more attention to the legs. If you're just beginning, we just want to get you a good pelvic tilt going. Again, our 3 count comes into play. Slow 3 count. 1, 2, 3. And then your exhale is 1, 2, 3. That's the hardest part to remember. You've done everything. You think you're done. You just go, let the breath go. You got to do that slow too. All right. There's our equidistant points once again. That's our DB plank. And with that, we are going to throw back over to Tiffany, and she is going to show us some planking.
All right. So we're on our mat. We're going to have our hands directly underneath our shoulders. And make sure you guys can see my nose here. But your nose is going to float just like you saw in the video. It's going to be equal distance, about 2 fingers from your forehead, 2 fingers from your chin. This is kind of just causing you to keep that chin to throat on like we were just doing. And we're doing basically the same thing as pelvic tilt. We're just facing the ground.
Tiff, is
It's going
that
to feel...
Tiff, is that ponytail flippable to the other side? It's covering your neck. There you go.
Let's see that. Is that better? Okay.
Yeah.
Pigtails might not have been the best choice for this one. Okay, so chin to throat here. If you keep that nose floated, then you're kind of already in that position. You're going to squeeze your knees together. And we're doing the same motion as pelvic tilt. It's just going to feel a little different because now your stomach is in contact with the ground. So you're actually going to lift up and it's going to create space between your ribs and your stomach right here. So get to show you guys. Chin to throat's on, knees are squeezing. Pelvic tilt. And you hold that, 2, 3, release, 2, 3. So let's do a few together. We're going to do 4 together. Keep your elbows in, and then we're going to visit the upper body with the chin to throat again. All right. So you're exhaling, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, release, 2, 3. Up, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, release, 2, 3. Up, 2, 3, hold it, tighten it, and release. All right, so now we got the pelvic tilt down. We'll move on to the chin to throat. We'll give it to Mark so he can kind of talk us through it.
All right. So everybody's got their chin to throat, held it in place now. And you're laying there in position. And with that chin to throat in place, we're going to move on to chin to throat. And for some of you, this is going to be difficult as it's new, okay? And that's all right. What we're going to do is show you a little rest pattern here, okay? So Tiffany's going to go into chin to throat. She's going to get her nose suspended just right? And we can see that nose floating there nicely. And then for some of you, you hold that 5 or 6 seconds, and that's going to start to be some effort. Simply just drop your chin to the mat. Take a couple of breaths and a rest. And then reset your shoulders. And just go right back into that next chin to throat, setting that equal distance. Tiff, you can drop your chin just a tad. Right about there. Good. And then her next rest will be on her forehead. Right there. She'll rest for a couple breaths. She's going to do another one. We've got 2 more rest positions to show you. 1 more, but 2 sides right there. And then she's holding that for a period. She's going to her next rest by turning down to her ear. Now, some of you with really cranky necks might not be able to do that, but that is an option too. So if this is difficult for you, that's what you're doing. Your chin to throat setting, resting, relaxing, chin to throat setting. For those of you who are a little further along, we're going to take plank to the next step. So we're going to presume you're going to put her pelvic tilt on. She's going to set that chin to throat. And she's been holding that for a while now, so she might be getting fatigued. And then she's going to squeeze her elbows together behind her and lift her hands. So that right there is what we call full flat plank, right? Everything is engaged. And for those of you, let's give that a try, everybody. Let's pause right here. Let's give it a try, and I'll go take a look at folks and see what we can do to make it better. I'm going to gallery view myself here. Tiff keeping up the good work. Ange, you can go right up against that door and do the same thing kind of standing. Now with your palms on the door. I don't know how clean it is or dirty. You make your own judgments there, but Sam, go ahead, Ange.
I've been trying to use my fist because everything is so sore. Like I couldn't even get in position that Tiffany is right now without hurting my wrist right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of going to use my fist.
Yeah. I'd say use your fist.
Standing alone was almost hard enough to keep my pelvic tilt and trying to get the chin and throat.
All right. Sounds like I would drop your arms down a little bit and go a little closer and still use your fists. Yeah, that looks good. Sam, I saw something with you I wanted to take a look at. And there we go. Good. Sam, let's back up just a minute and get that nose floating for me with the chin tucked. There you go, yeah. I couldn't tell if it was the beard and just an optical illusion or if you weren't fully tucking. You had a little bit left there. Now set the hands and go for the elbow lift without letting the chin drop. There you go. Again, so the lifting of the elbows is going to want to distort the chin, and that's okay. You're building strength to resist that reflexive distortion. That's exactly what we're doing. All right. And that's looking good. And last but not least, if we can go back to Tiffany, we'll show you what comes after this, okay? So Tiffany, go ahead, nose floats, chin's tucked, elbows come up and back, and then you're going to, I'll walk you into it. Pelvic tilt, chin to throat, squeeze the elbows together, lift the hands, squeeze the elbows together more, and she's coming up into cobra. You see that, folks? That plank becomes cobra. Notice how she's not throwing her head back into that, right? She's keeping her chin to throat proportionally as she creates that arch. So for those of you who are feeling the zeal, have some yoga experience, there's a little crossover there for you. All right. And that is our plank demonstration. Anybody out there trying cobra? I'll take a look. Sam, if you want to give it a try. All right. Let your elbows be higher. Let your hands be flat and your elbows high. Let's back up. We'll go down. Hands flat, elbows high, chin to throat. Slide your hands back toward your shoulders a little bit. There you go. Now lift them and squeeze them together a little without cobraing. And then apply cobra. There you go. There you go. I like. That's a nice clean engagement. 20 or 30 of those, and you're going to start to get some muscle memory going on that. All right, and that's who and what I can see on that. So we're going to move on. And that bit of work was focused on the neck mobility, neck precision, neck kinetics, we can say. As we move on next, we're going to take that kinetics that we just learned about the neck, and we're going to move into some shoulder exercises. Okay, that first stage of these shoulder exercises is make a T. Learning how to make a relaxed T with your arms. First, we're going to show you a video, then Tiff is going to demonstrate for us. So as Sam gets into position there, we will watch video. This is just a short clip here, but I want you to look at her straight line T with the relaxed shoulders. These little wiggles here, they're showing you all the different mistakes you can make. We don't want to see any of those. Okay, just a nice clean T. So that's the video there. And with that, we throw back to live real-time T, making a T.
Cool. So, oh, a little crooked. My box doesn't always work so well. Okay. So we're going to keep our feet directly underneath our hips here. So hip width apart. Same type of pressure on the balls of your foot. Engage your pelvic tilt. Reach into throat. And from here, we're going to work on making a T. So we're going to test our limits a little bit here. So let's see how far we can go. Might be right here until we start to feel our shoulders raise up. So it might just be to here, and you might feel yourself doing this, and that's okay. So just take it down a little bit, and we'll work here. So for those who are a little bit lower, let's work this out. So what you're going to do is rotate your elbows towards the front, towards the screen. So it'll just be like this. And those who can take a little higher, come up here, really keep that chin to throat. We don't want to be hijacking up these shoulders here. So just reach out until infinity. And when you're up here, it feels more like you're rotating towards the ceiling. So you're isolating some muscles here, separating the shoulder joints from the glenohumeral joints. Really slow. So this is just a precursor to our next exercise.
If let's show them a quick view from the back so that they can see your scapula staying still as you make that rotation. Okay, so let's take a minute and breathe with me. Pull the shoulders down and back. Pull and pin, hold them firm, and then go to your rotation. There you go. See that, guys? See how her scapula moves just a little bit at the end of the rotation, but it's not being dominated by it. All right, thank you there. Little side view so they can see how straight the line is, and we'll get busy.
And yeah, again, this isn't a fast motion. It's really slow. We're trying to be precise here.
All right.
Take some shrugs out of that.
So that is make a T. I want to go take a look at folks making their Ts and take any questions or concerns for just a minute. So I'm going to pop up, expand my gallery view. Oh, there we go. And what are we looking at? We're looking at Angela. Ange, show me how high. Come in a little closer to the camera and relax. Okay, it's too far. I need it right there.
My audio.
Right there. Yeah, and let your hands fall. And then raise one arm up at a time. Keep going.
So I'm just raising until I start to feel tingling in my hands. And what I'm having a problem with is that I have a lot of tingling, almost doing nothing in my arms right now.
Okay.
So I feel like I have more movement in my shoulders without tingling, but the second I start lifting with my arms, I start getting a lot of nerve pain on the underside of my arm.
This is very important, and I have a solution for you, a place to start, okay? And that is going to be to take the hands up till the tingling starts lightly. Do that for me. Once the tingling starts, rotate forward and rotate all the way back, squeezing the scapula together. And then let your hands down with the thumb still turned out. Relax. Do a little shake. And then same thing, rinse, repeat. Each cycle is a rep for you. Raise the hands up. Rotate the hands forward.
Oh, I started with them rotated. Wait a second.
Right. Yeah. We're ending with that external rotation of the thumbs because that external rotation of the thumbs squeezes your shoulder blades together and locks them in. And then we come down. And then when you come up again, what's going to happen is when you do that forward rotation and you come back into the backward rotation, you're going to start to realize you're holding your shoulders firmly through the whole thing. At first, your shoulders you're gonna find them forward, and when you turn your thumbs out, they're gonna make a big whomp. As you do it more, you're going to come up, turn your thumbs forward, and you're not going to be here. You follow me? It's going to start to click.
Do you see me doing that?
Yeah. And you're comfortable with that?
So I'm going up, and then I'm turning my elbows forward.
Right.
So no, this is not comfortable. There's a lot of zinging.
Okay. And then rotate them out and open.
Rotate them.
The other direction. There you
Out.
go. Squeeze that, and then drop your hands and relax and shake. And then go up into the next one.
Okay.
And if the last one was too tingly, stay short of that.
Oh, wait. It's so easy to go back first.
Yeah.
Okay, so forward.
And then,
Middle bit.
right, and this is good for everybody who's following along to get some of these finer details. That feels all right?
Yeah, I can feel it in the back feeling good, like releasing something, balancing it out somehow.
Good. Next, I think I'm going to go on and take a look at Sam because he's showing us what he's up to there. I think that's Matthew jumping in on some production help. We appreciate that. Sam, all right? We got you going there. I like that. Shoulders are nice and low. Show me your full rotation, open and close. Good. Okay. So I want you, what I'm going to do with you is have you rotate all the way back, right? And watch this shoulder. As you rotate all the way forward, don't let that happen. So you're going to go from back and you're going to pin your shoulder blades nice and solid. And then as you rotate forward through the whole rotation, you're going to keep that pin on, that pin of the shoulder blades, and not let them come forward with the rotation, okay? Let's try a few of those. Up, rotate them back, get them pinned. Okay, keep the elbows bent a little. There you go. And then keep the shoulders pinned as you rotate back in the other direction. Good, right? Don't let them have that reflexive dump that they want to take forward. All right, and that'll harden up that shoulder retraction for you a little bit. Okay, that's enough on make a T, because make a T leads us into the next more difficult, a little bit more complex exercise, reverse fly. We have a video for reverse fly as well. And as always, we're going to work through that and then go to Tiffany. So here we go with reverse fly. You will see immediately that it starts with an intro. But right after that intro, you'll see that it starts with make a T, right? All of this work here early in the video is about setting that T, getting the pelvic tilt and chin to throat in place. Always start from solid base. Base falters, that's point of first failure. That's right. Keeping the arms nice and straight. A little bit of bend in the elbows. There's the T. Check, kitty, check. Here we pivot forward from the hips. Notice how close her ribs go to her thighs. That's very important. You want to bend forward as far as you can, okay? And sometimes it takes a minute to think about that and hold yourself straight and let yourself flex into it, okay? Here we'll see some arm motion action, right? Notice that bend in the elbow stays the same as she lets the elbows be lifted by strings, right? Almost like you're being puppeted here. You should feel it in your shoulder blades, not in your neck, not in your low back, not in your hamstrings. You may feel it in those places. That's indicative that we've got another place to work on. That means you should show up for the back and hip show. All right. So from there, we're going to throw over to Tiffany, and she's going to pick up where she left off in T making and bring us right on into reverse fly in her own eloquent words.
So I got a chair here, not a rolly one. That's dangerous. I have a pillow too, just because I have a low back problem, so it feels a little more comfortable for me to do this exercise with the pillow. So we're going to go into our T, but first let's start by planting our feet, just like we always do. Keep your knees parallel, keep your thighs parallel to each other as well as to the ground. So you don't want your knees to be too high. You want them to be either level with the ground or a little bit below. Pelvic tilt is on, chin to throat is on. We go into our T, and we keep a little slight bent elbow here. And we're gonna bend at the hip. So hinge forward, keep yourself as a plank here. And bend as far as you feel comfortable, keeping that T. And then you're going to sink your hands together, slice them underneath your legs. And then we are working up here, squeezing the scaps together. Squeeze it, and go down. And I'm gonna show you guys a couple here. I'm gonna do 3, and I'll show you guys a different view, kind of like in the video. And down, 2, 3. Up, 2, 3. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 2, 3. Okay, keep going after it. I'm just gonna show you guys a side view.
As she makes that transition there, I'll point out that your exercise starts from the ground. She's getting her first knuckle of her big toe in place. She's getting her thighs firm and parallel. She sets her pelvic tilt, and then everything starts from there. Without the base, you are floating in space.
Again, we're trying not to raise our shoulders towards our ears. If you tend to do that, then maybe don't squeeze up as high and just kind of take it down a notch, because that's just reinforcing a bad habit. Okay, I'll show you guys the back view. I'll show you guys back view, and then Mark will go into gallery coaching, help you guys out.
Right there we see her nice lines, the pivot forward from the hips. All is looking good. Okay. Now,
Right,
Angela.
I'm gonna shoot
Go ahead.
for 10 here and let Mark coach, and then we'll shake it out.
And I'm going to go right to Angela, because that tingling is a real issue, and it's a real issue for a lot of people out there. And people who see this, you got to know that there's a place to start and a way to get it going. So Angela, you're going to raise your arms up to the tingle point. You're going to put your feet a little wider than just under your hips. And then with your arms at or just below tingle point, you're going to work on that nice pivot from the hips bending forward.
Yeah, that's about as far as I feel like I can go almost.
Right.
Right.
I'm conceiving that you might have a problem with the back on this. So we're combining it with something else for you. And it's going to be hold the arms just below tingle point, flex forward as far as you're comfortable, stay in position, flex back.
Yeah, because going down low, I can't. That's where it really.
Don't even worry about that for now. You're going to gain strength just by holding your arms at tingle point, flexing forward, coming back, letting them shake, bring them back to tingle point, flex forward, come out, let them shake. That's where you're at with this right now. Right? There's a modification for everybody.
Does it look like I'm bending from the?
Yeah, you're doing great. I'm gonna jump out to Sam here, because he's also giving us some good feed. Keep that up multiple times a day. Can't really do too much. The more you do it, the stronger you get, and you'll find your tingle point gets higher and higher. That's what I'm hoping for. Sam, you are looking good there. If Matthew wants to give me Sam on full screen. Thank you, fine sir. All right, Sam. I see something I might want to do with you. If you've got, can you turn to that other stool and put your leg up on that stool? Yeah. Just do a quick hamstring stretch, each leg, about 30 plus seconds. Leg out straight, foot on the crossbar. There you go. And just kind of stretch into that, push that. You know how to do the hamstring stretch. We've been there before, so I'm not going to coach you too hard on it. Rotate the left hip forward a little bit. We'll get you some, yeah. There you go. Give about 30 seconds on each side, and I'll come back to you on that. Take a look at the pro, Tiffany, here. See what I can tweak her forward a little bit. Tiff, grab your legs. Give yourself a big hug with your legs. Pull yourself way down. Now flatten your back. Flatten your back. That's it. Now hold that position and do your reverse fly. Good. All right. Right, that's muscle. I just gave her work right up through the middle of her spine, from her low back right through all the rib cage. That's a hard, makes the position hard to hold. But that's what our whole series is about: is training those foundational muscles. Let's go back to Sam. And then, Sam, we're going to have you come out of that hamstring stretch, do the same thing Tiffany just did. Kind of bend down, give yourself a big hug around your legs. Diligence. So lay there. Don't even worry about the arms right now. Just bend down from the hips, grab around the legs, pull yourself in. Stretch that low back out a little bit now. And then try to flatten your back down into that posture. So the round of your mid back, I want to see flattening. Head comes up with it. Head comes up a little bit, chin to throat. Get it all right there. Good. Now take a breath. Let your arms release. Go into T, and let me see your first rep. There you go. Good. Right. Now, see, everybody can see Sam doesn't quite have the straight T that Tiffany has, but that's okay. Tiffany's been working on it a while longer. Tiffany doesn't have the cross-country mileage on a motorcycle that she's trying to unwind either.
Not yet. Just kidding.
All right. So that's a little bit of look at that. Feeling good, Sam? Hitting the target? All right. So with that, we are open to questions from the gallery. If anybody who's muted would like to come out and ask a question, please do so. Love to hear from you.
Yeah, and if you're on a laptop, you can use the space bar to unmute yourself. Excuse me. Go ahead.
I'm curious if, so I was doing those, and then like about the fifth one, it feels like, trying to hold my chin to throat and everything, it makes it harder to do it. It feels like it almost gets the tingling to happen less and less. So is it okay to, dwindle the size down over time? Or is it better really to stick at the lowest point that you can go and just try to stay there?
You should be at the highest point that you can tolerate. You should be as close to your threshold as you can get, and it's okay after.
So if that, after my fifth try of doing it, I can't go as high as I've gone before,
you should stop and do arm swings and wrap and slaps, and that's the end of your set. Anytime you're doing an exercise, the point at which you reach fatigue doing reps is the end of your set. That fatigue point ideally is between 15 and 20 reps. If you're at 5, then it's 5 today, 6 tomorrow, 7 the next day until you get up there.
So the fatigue, when I go less and less, that's like you've hit a fatigue.
Right. If you're doing exercises and you're not getting fatigued, something's wrong. You're just, you're getting fatigued a little more easily than your average bear, but that's all right. That's still where we start our work. Okay. Anybody else? Going once, going twice, 3 times, and we are out of reverse fly and with wrap and slaps, folks. Arm swings, wrap and slaps. We did not come out of it yet, right? So Tiffany, let's show them that. I'll give them a demo too, right? Throwing water off the end of your hands, asynchronous, and then the wrap and slaps. You're just trying to slap the back of your shoulder. Loosey goosey. And we start low and slow if you've got shoulder aches. They don't have to be huge. Tiffany, any fine tuning on that?
I just hit my chair, so make sure you have clearance. Make sure you're not going to knock anything over.
This is an experiential process, and everyone will wrap their knuckles at least once.
Luckily, it was just a little, just the nail, doesn't matter. All right.
I have a question.
Hey, Jay, what's up?
How you doing?
Doing good.
Is it okay to do push-ups if you have a little bit of neck ache, or does it have to be the right posture when you're doing it?
You should back your push-ups. If you do a set of push-ups, in the end, you've got a nasty knot in there or ache, you should modify your push-up downward so that it doesn't aggravate that and build toward it. And in the meantime, what we're going into right now is neck stretching, which is going to get right into that.
This is my favorite.
area.
My favorite.
All right. So with that, Jay, thank you very much. You bring us nicely into the neck stretch.
Thank you, sir.
We don't have videos here. This is going to be all live. And I'm going to throw over to Miss Tiffany, and she's going to walk you and talk you into what we call the side neck stretch. It's a very gentle, slow approach. It's not a high force thing. Okay? Can I say it again? It's not a high force thing. We're not pulling. Okay? And with that, I throw over to Tiffany, and she's going to walk us into it.
All right. So you're going to stay in your chair. You're going to use one arm as an anchor, sort of bring your elbow in. And then you're going to use this hand, and we're going to place our ear right between the middle and ring finger. And just going to reiterate again, it's a really gentle motion. You're just using the weight of your hand to guide your head into like an arching motion. You kind of say like a rainbow arch. You're not going to be folding this way. And also, just before we get into it, I want to let everyone know to get out of the stretch. If I'm going too long and you want to get out of it, it seems like it's too harsh, you need to just shrug out of it. So you'll push out against your hand and then shrug, and then you can do the wrap and slaps or arm swings if you feel tingly or anything. And then you just can try again and maybe go out a little more gentle. We do try to sustain the stretch for like 2 minutes, but this one can flare you up. So just really be gentle here. Okay, let's use what is this, Star Wars? Let's do that here. No, Star Trek, right?
Live long and prosper.
Okay, so
Stretch long and prosper.
Stretch long and prosper for 2 minutes. We're gonna try for 90 seconds. And again, just think of this arching motion here, guiding your head, but not pushing. It's not a lot of force. You'll feel it. Thanks, Sam.
For those of you that are watching and just saw me come out of it, I have some neck issues. There are times when I just can't compress onto that side of my neck because the whole thing lights up tingling. So I'm switching sides and going to try to clear out on one side.
And you can even further the stretch just by really grabbing with the anchor arm and creating that space between by pulling you down.
For those of you that can see me, I'm walking my hands down my side there, kind of grabbing my pants to make an anchor to pull against.
Remember your chin to throat here.
Just the weight of the hand doing the work.
Remember your shrug out. No ratcheting of the neck if you need to get out of it. Keep
All right.
breathing.
All right, that's a minute and 30 seconds.
All right.
All
So
right.
push out against your hand and shrug your shoulders. Shrug, I'm good.
So to explain a little bit about why no ratcheting, this is ratcheting, okay? As you're stretching your neck, you have vertebrae that are in a stack. As those vertebrae flex apart, okay, you're making a compressive point over here and you're opening over here. There's ligaments and discs and all kinds of soft tissues in this area. And a lot of times when you spend a lot of time in this position, soft tissues will migrate out into that open space. When you come out of the stretch and level off, there will be tissues that are there's two bony edges here, and there's tissues that get between them, and they'll get sheared when you do that ratcheting. So that's why when you shrug your shoulders, you kind of reset all those tissues to their natural place, and then you can ratchet pretty comfortably without worrying about pinching. But don't ratchet immediately after a neck stretch. And now we'll go into side 2 with Miss T. That was side 1, right?
Yeah. So same thing. Anchor here, using our hand on our ear. Pelvic tilt. You don't want to be slouching here, so sit upright and just use the weight to guide yourself open here. And same, we'll start our 90 seconds. And we're just going to breathe into it. Remember our exits by shoulder shrugging. And while we breathe and feel more and more open up, we usually can find that we can increase the stretch on our exhale.
So for me, after doing the stretch on the other side, I was able to hold the stretch a bit longer the second time around on my difficult side. And it didn't get as intense as quickly, but I've got work to do there. Think about your breathing, settling in, taking it as far as you can. All right, going in the gallery. Jay is looking good. Angela's doing her arm swing, so I can see she's learning how to pace herself a little better with things. Sam, take a deep breath. Let your eyes be straight ahead. Forget about the timer for just a sec. And let yourself just kind of fall into it a little bit if you can. And maybe a push back into your hand and release. Push back into your hand, release, pull again kind of strategy. Activating those stretched neck muscles. All right. And
That's a minute and 30 there.
all right. Thank you, sir. Shrug that on out. Any questions, concerns, bad sensations from anyone in the group in attempting that stretch?
I'll say that I've noticed in both time stretching that my arm that is on my head feels a little tingly or starts to fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
But,
I wasn't looking closely, but I would say the first thing to look for when you're doing that is to make sure you're not hiking that shoulder up while you're pulling, that you're good and anchored.
Okay.
Coming down. And nerve pinching makes a certain kind of tingling and difficulty that can come on fairly quickly. When you're holding it up there for a long time, that could just be like a blood flow thing, right? You've been holding a static contraction for a while.
Okay.
All
yeah,
right,
I felt more like that than nervy.
Yeah, you can distinguish between the two when you felt both for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So that ends with arm swings and wrap and slaps. Before we go into our last neck stretch, which we call the forward neck stretch. And we'll be throwing back to Tiffany to bring us into that. In the forward neck stretch, really the most important part is that you get a good scoop, get your arms together. You come up and over the head, and the same thing. You're not pulling down on the head. You're making that rainbow arc out away from the head, right? If you're pulling down like this and your hands slip off, you go like that. That's not good. If you're pulling the rainbow arc and your hands slip off, they go like that. All right, that's when you know you're pulling in the right direction. Tiffany, take it away.
All right. So you can find the nape of your neck here, kind of like the bottom of your skull. That's where your fingers are going to kind of hook under. So connect your pinkies together, elbows together, scoop up the water. Find the back of our skull here. Keep our pelvic tilt on and bring yourself forward. You're sort of folding the top half of your body. You're not rolling like this, but we are rounding our shoulders to really get that stretch in there. And we're gonna hold this for 90 seconds here. If you need to get out of it, push like this and do some shrugs.
Yeah, whenever you're in these stretches, it's okay to use the muscles you're stretching to push back against the force you're creating with your arms and then relax back into it. It tends to break stasis and let you stretch just a little deeper.
You might need to re-grip it all. Sometimes I lose it. And then just hook under again. Go into it.
Looking good. Angela, this is one you want to take it easy on. But again, it's finding that threshold. And you might just want to find the threshold and do some pushing reps back into it. And then we'll look at Sam for just a sec. Good. Angle's looking good. Doesn't look like you're pulling down too hard. I would maybe have you sort of proud up your chest a little bit more. Get your back a little straighter. Sit up a little straighter into it maybe too. Yeah, so you're a little pivoted forward at the hips. Just stack shoulders over hips. There you go. And then go back into the stretch. Beautiful. All right, well, that's everybody I can see. I'm going to pop up to the larger gallery view for just a minute, make sure I'm not missing anybody.
And that's a 30 there.
Okay, great. All right. And that's what we had lined up for you guys today. I hope it was worth your time. I hope you got a better feel for some things, some stretches. I noticed we had a couple new names on the list there. I welcome you. Susie, and there was someone else in there.
Oh, that's my Auntie Susie. She's been here before.
Okay. Nicole is new with us today. Welcome, Nicole. Jay is back. Angela's back. I hope this new time is working for everybody. Share it with your friends. The name of the class is Building Kinetic Hygiene. It's the work that you do to fight the woes of life, right? Whether you're a trucker or a desk person, those things take a toll on your body. It's kinetic hygiene that fights that toll, right? It's just like flossing your teeth for your joints. And we're here every week at 5 p.m. and we rotate through 5 things: head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Oh, and hips. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Oh, and hips. That is our cycle. And we hope you'll join us every month. You get a nice full body workover. It's a great place to have an anchorage and cement your discipline so that the rest of the week you're getting good work on top of this one session right here. It kind of sets the pace and the tone. We do have one-on-one sessions available for those of you who would like a little bit more personalized service. There's some great stuff happening at dynamicbalance.com as we build that out. Donations are welcome through PayPal. All of these shows are cataloged on YouTube. You can find great stuff on Instagram and Facebook. If there's any questions right now or concerns, feel free to unmute. I am open to hearing what you got to say. If there's any questions that have come in from the live streams, I'm happy to address those as well.
I just wanted to say thank you, because doing the stretching and the breathing is really good for relaxing.
Yeah,
Great.
I feel more relaxed too. Thanks.
Yeah, I feel good.
It's relaxing in the moment, and it's building the underlying strength you need for those stresses of life to be less impactful. So keep up the good work. Thank you all for coming, and hopefully we will see you next week. All right.
Thank you,
Over
Mark.
and
Cool.
out.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
See you soon.